5 quarterbacks taken through the first 15 picks in the NFL draft. None so far in the second round. 60 picks into the NFL draft. Here, a look at the top available QBs. Davis Mills out of Stanford. Kyle Trask, of course, the Heisman finalist, tossed 43 touchdowns, just 8 interceptions. Felipe Franks started at Florida, transferred to Arkansas to finish his career. Kellen Mond at Texas A&M, and then Sam Ehlinger at Texas, who finished his career there with the Longhorns. And all 5 of them still sitting on the board, waiting to hear their names called. All right, let's call some names here right now. Pete Prisco, Brady Quinn. Brady, former NFL quarterback, former Notre Dame standout. When you look at the 5 guys available here, Brady, who jumps out to you in terms of what they could do at the NFL level?
Well, look, Kellen Mond's a part of this group. I had him as number 5 of my top 5 quarterbacks. I think when you look at his ascension over his time at Texas A&M, really what Jimbo Fisher asked him to do within that system, it's going to translate well to the NFL level. He's a quarterback who's very capable of running the football and taking off, or running some zone reads if he needs to, and he's a good decision maker. He's got a strong arm, can make all the throws. He's fundamentally sound. He really checks off a lot of boxes for me. He would be the guy that I could see going next. I don't know if he will. Pete's got a guy that I think, at least the odds are, he's supposed to go next. We'll see how teams feel about it, though.
Yeah, and I think who's ever getting Davis Mills coming up, and it probably, isn't going to go where we thought he would go, because we thought he'd go before this, is getting a steal. I think Davis Mills only played 11 games. I know he's had some knee injuries.
It's a lot to make of 11 games, Pete.
Well, it's a lot to make of 11 games, but there's a lot. Hey, how many did Trey Lance play? He hadn't played a lot either.
More than 11.
Yeah, 17, so not many more. But, yeah, I just think that Davis Mills has the look, has the arm. He was the #1 recruit in the country when he came out. He did have some injury issues. I think experience is something that he lacks, but I do like Davis Mills. I think he should be the next quarterback off the board.
Pete, what are you getting if you draft a guy like Davis Mills? Like, is there a comp out there that people can say? Because not a lot of people watch Davis Mills during the college football season at Stanford. Is there a comp that you would compare him to, or is there somebody that you think, hey, this is the kind of guy you're probably getting if you draft him?
You mean, Akeem, you don't stay up late at night to watch Brady Quinn do Pac-12 games?
I do. I do.
One-eyed. Come on, Akeem. He's lay on the couch one eye and watch Brady Quinn do games. Look, I think – I'm not saying he's Andrew Luck, but when he plays – he's not. I'm not saying he's Andrew Luck.
Well, why are you mentioning Andrew Luck?
There's mannerisms, and even David Shaw said it. There are mannerisms that remind you.
Mannerisms, Pete?
He has the skill set that looks like Andrew Luck. I'm telling you, he does.
They wear the same uniform. They both play for Stanford.
Hey, is David Shaw a smart man? He said it too. David Shaw said it too. No. I think he's got a good arm. The thing with him is playing a lot, and Brady said it. He will look so good for streaky times and streaky plays, and then he'll look so bad and make such an elementary mistake, but then he'll rally back from it. I go back to the UCLA game. He threw 3 picks in the UCLA game. 2 of them were such bad plays, but then he came back and he threw the ball all over the place in both overtimes, and they won the game. I think that shows you something about him as a quarterback.
Look, he runs an NFL-style system, okay? He has the command and control of an offense. He'll be able to handle whatever an NFL team throws at him from that perspective. Fundamentally, sound, box checked. He's mature. You see all those things. He just hasn't played a lot of football. He's been injury prone, and those are things that have to be worrisome. And where he's going to be drafted, I don't think he's going to get an opportunity to play much unless it's due to injury or the team's in a really, really bad spot. So I think that's unfortunately what he has working against him. The arm strength is enough. It's not great. He's accurate. He throws with some anticipation, but as you said, he's inconsistent. You mentioned the UCLA game. I talked to you about the Washington game earlier, looking at that the other day. That's more of the concern there. I think the thing about Kellen Mond, one of the reasons why I like him better is I think he translates better to the NFL game now where it's at, being able to be a part of the rushing attack and all that. The one thing that holds me back from saying, like, he's never taken that next step of just looking more comfortable, looking more fluid, looking more like he's playing the position. Sometimes he feels robotic, when he's dropping back and working through reads. It's almost like he's doing what he feels like he's supposed to be doing and how the coach is coaching him, instead of just going out there playing and letting it loose. But another guy who I thought, kind of act like that? Justin Herbert did a little bit at Oregon, and looked how he turned out. So that's why I'm high on Kellen Mond. I think he could be a guy that surprises a lot of people.
By the way, Akeem, Brady has Kellen Mond ahead of Trey Lance.
Yes.
He does. He's 100% in on that. And you know what? I don't think it's that bad of a comparison when you're going to rank the quarterbacks. It's not that. There's not that much difference.
Be interesting to see how it plays out, because if Kellen Mond goes here in the second round or third round, and you might be talking about, man, hey, they could have had this guy at this number. But we always do that post-draft and say where guys could have gone. I'm curious, Brady, on your thoughts on Kyle Trask. Right? He was the Heisman Trophy favorite for so long, then fell off at the end of the season. Still set the SEC record with 43 touchdowns. Still had a heck of a season. What's the concern or the question mark for him at the NFL level?
Yeah, immobile, a little bit lacks consistency as far as his accuracy. It's weird, too, because it's a little more of the intermediate short passing game where you see him kind of miss some throws, miss some balls. I think there's a thought, too, much like there has been when people talked about Mac Jones or people talked about some of the other quarterbacks in this draft is, how good is he or how good was Kyle Pitts and Kadarius Toney? Toney, who really lived getting off yards after the catch, which helps pad your stats as a quarterback. But thrown to a guy like Kyle Pitts, who was arguably the best prospect in this draft, it's going to make you look good. So there's some concern there. Look, he's not a dual threat guy. He doesn't move overly well. He stands like a statue in the pocket, which, look, he's tough. He can take on those hits. He's great under pressure. He shows a lot of poise. But those are some things that kind of concern you a little bit of how it translates to the next level because you got to be able to move. You got to be able to create off-script plays. And I think he's a little bit limited, too, in just the way he can articulate his arm to make throws. If he's not aligned to some of those throws, he's going to struggle to be accurate.
Pete, would it be outside? Yeah, Pete, would it be outside of the realm? I just want to ask him, curious, because would it be outside the realm? Because we've seen this trend here of pairing former college teammates together. We saw Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, Devontae Smith, and Jalen Hurts, Waddle, and Tua Tagovailoa. Is it outside the realm to think, hey, Atlanta's coming up here at 68? And, of course, you've got Matt Ryan, but why not have Kyle Trask learn behind him? Then you've got Kyle Pitts to go with him there. Is that outside the realm to think that might be too much of a reach there?
Well, they just signed A.J. McCarron. Otherwise, you might say, okay. And that doesn't take him out of the quarterback derby. But I think if Atlanta's going to address the quarterback situation, they would have addressed it earlier in this draft. They had an opportunity to grab one of the quarterbacks, and they didn't. So that tells you they're sticking with Matt Ryan. And I've heard that all along, that the ownership wanted Matt Ryan to be the quarterback for the next couple of years, which is why he's there. So I don't think they address quarterback. Now, if Kyle Trask is there in the 5th, 6th round, and you might want to take a flyer on him, then maybe. But I don't think they do it in the next couple of rounds.
All right, we'll see how it plays out. We're still waiting to find out which quarterback will go off the board here at the end of the second round, early in the third round. Pete Prisco, Brady Quinn here on CBS Sports HQ breaking it down for us. Much more ahead on CBS Sports HQ as we continue to follow the NFL Draft Day 2 from Cleveland.